Good evening. Good evening, guys. How's everyone doing this evening? Welcome, welcome. Happy New Year's, everybody. I am so excited to be back. Um, and we got a brand new year full of brand new opportunities, brand new things to discuss. So, you guys come on in and join us this evening. Come on in. Mr. Jackson, I see you out there. How are you doing today? How are you doing this evening? How has your day been today, Mr. Jackson? Mr. Jackson, how are you doing? Hello, Miss Simone Hicks. How are you doing? Let's see. I'll try to get. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, Mr. Jackson. Okay, it's adding you, I think. So once you get added in, then we're gonna try to add Miss Simone Hicks in. It says that it's adding you, Mr. Jackson, but you guys come on in. I'm just so excited to see everyone today. I'm looking so much forward um to having our discussion tonight. Let's see. Uh, so we're gonna approve you to join in. Let's see if it will add you, or am I just having trouble adding today? Come on, come on. There's Miss Simone. Hey,
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm well, thank you. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine. I
Good,
can hear you just
good.
fine. Thank you so much for joining.
Of
Mr. Jackson,
course.
you gonna send us a request to join Mr. Jackson? But I am just so excited to be here tonight, and I'm excited to have our very special guest with us, Dr. Simone Hicks. And we're going to go ahead and get started when we can get Mr. Jackson added in there. But I'm happy, guys. This is a new year.
Happy New
Um,
Year.
Happy New Year's to you. And Happy New Year to everyone out there. I've missed you guys. We've been gone. We took off the month of December. A lot has transpired, so we're gonna have a lot to talk about. Um, uh, we're gonna have a whole lot to talk about over the next several weeks, several months. We're gonna focus in on, well, actually this year I last year we was focusing on the family kind of but this year we're going to focus on being the best versions of ourselves that we can possibly be. We're focusing on healthy mind, body, and soul. Mind, body, and spirit. Mr. Jackson, have you requested to join us? Hello, Miss Darlene Todd. How you doing, doll baby? Happy New Year. Hey to my brother-in-law, Vinny E. Lewis. Thank you for joining, Vinny E. Love you. Um, who else do we have out there this evening? If you guys don't mind, would you like and share the video for me? Like and share the video, tag some of your friends. We're going to have a very important discussion tonight. And our discussion tonight centers on the hope that is beyond the break. And whatever your breaking point may be, and whatever you may be dealing with or have dealt with, um, whether it's sickness, you may be ill, you may be unemployed, you may be in a toxic relationship, you may be dealing with substance abuse. You may be dealing with some type of mental health issues, a crisis, depression, fear, anxiety, whatever it is, we want you all to know when you get to your breaking point. There used to be an old song that says, make a knot and hold
Hold
on,
on.
hold on, because there is hope beyond the break. Okay. Mr. Jackson, let me see what he's saying. I'm not able to request to join. The request icon is grayed out. Let me see if I can try to add you. Hold on. Let's see. Mr. Jackson. No. Okay, Mr. Jackson, I just sent a request for you and see it does that come up to give you an option to accept it. But in the meantime, we're glad to have with us tonight in our discussion Dr. Simone Hicks. And I'm going to let Dr. Hicks just introduce herself to our audience. If you don't mind, Dr. Hicks, go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited and passionate about this topic. So I hope we can help each other this evening.
Okay.
So I am Simone Hicks. Currently, I serve in the role of Associate Dean of Students um, at Augusta University. I have a decent amount of experience working with individuals with disabilities, and really primarily in my role is to be an advocate and address holistic wellness when it relates to student well-being. So we're talking about emotionally, we're talking about physically, we're talking about mentally, spiritually, whatever that looks like for a student feeling whole,
Right.
because my goal is for them to be able to recognize when they're having a break and, if you will, feeling hopeless. My goal is to instill that hope and remind them of their why. So I'm super excited to be here for this discussion, and thank you for the invite and the platform to do such.
Okay. Well, Miss uh Dr. Hicks, um one thing that, we always say, and I hear it said so frequently, that it's okay not to be okay. We're trying to get people to realize it's okay to ask for help if you need help. And it's okay to feel bad. It's okay to be sick. It's okay that I got myself into this situation, and I look up and I'm being battered by my spouse, or I'm addicted to this substance, and I thought I could just take one and move on, but now I'm addicted, or I'm addicted to alcohol, and or I'm struggling with depression. I don't want to get out of my bed. I don't even want to take a bath, and I just don't feel good about myself, who I am, or I'm so consumed with fear I can't come out of the house. I'm scared, afraid of everything and everybody. How did I get to this point? And it's okay to experience those things. All of us at some point experiences something that we need to get help with. The thing that we want to talk about really today is the fact that even though it's okay to have those experiences, it's not okay just to stay there or just to sit in your illness, or your addiction, or your toxic relationship, or your mental health crisis. It's not just okay just to sit there and not seek help. There is help for all of that out there. And then the thing about it too is there are people who have experienced the same thing that you are experiencing now. They have been to it and they have been through it, and they can tell you and testify that there is hope, there is life, there is help on the other side of whatever it is you may be going through.
Mhm.
So that is what we want to talk about today, the hope that is beyond the break.
Is Mr. Jackson able to get?
I'm trying to get Mr. Jackson in. Mr. Jackson, you probably are going to have to just go all the way out of your because I keep trying to add you and it says adding and then it says connection failed. So you're probably gonna have to go all the way out
Come back in.
Facebook completely and come back in and make sure now that you don't have any other devices on before we get you in. You know that it has to just be that one little cell phone that I'm
Yeah.
trying to get you in on. Because otherwise it's not gonna let you in.
Yeah.
So make sure that you have that because we definitely want to get you involved in that discussion, this discussion, because it is one that you two are extremely passionate about. And Simone is a counselor, therapist. That is what you do, right? Therapist, counselor.
I'm a counselor by training, but in my current role, I oversee. So I'm not in the clinical setting right now. So in my current role, I oversee case managers and really
Mm-hmm.
provide a realm of support. So it looks like me identifying or allowing the student and or client to identify what's important for them and get them connected to resources. And so the work looks like from people who have everyday stressors all the
Mm-hmm.
way to people having struggles getting from day to day and not knowing how they're going to make it. And so I still utilize that skill set in my everyday work. And so this is prevalent. This topic is timely, and these conversations are needed. I don't believe there's we talk about this more now, and I'm excited for that, but I don't think we have reached a goal where we have achieved talking about what does it look like being holistically well. I feel like it's easy, particularly in the new year. Why this is all timely. Like we often talk about, we're gonna get our health
Right.
together. We're like, I'm gonna do
Mm-hmm.
this. I'm gonna get this diet. I'm gonna
Right.
set this goal. I'm gonna drink more water. And it is
Uh-huh.
so easy to focus on that and sometimes lack on our mental and emotional well-being. But I see it as a domino effect. All of it works together for our elements.
And that is so true. Um, oh, I was asking you about your trade because I by trade do social services.
Yes, okay,
So okay, so my sister always says social work isn't what I do, it's who I am.
that's right.
So it is something that um the person focusing on the well-being of the person as a whole is something that is really important to me because um we can't really I do financial support, so we can't really expect a person to become self-sufficient and independent really in a broken state.
Sure, sure. And that's
So
why I find it, I'm sorry.
go ahead. Mm-mm, go ahead.
To echo that, when we're working, whether it's our family or those we work with in the profession, it's so important to recognize the whole person. I think we see people experience different things and not recognizing. Sometimes we have to undo a lot to support
Right,
people, particularly in social services. When
right,
I was in Opelika, I worked as a case manager, and I found how important it was to understand their background,
right.
understand their narrative, what they believe. And so often when we're talking about people getting help, we think it's that easy for them. And we
Mm-hmm.
don't address the barriers for them getting
The
help. So it's easy to
barriers.
tell, oh, just go
Mm-hmm.
to counseling. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's an assumption they have insurance. That's an assumption they have money. That's an assumption they have transportation. That's an
Right.
assumption they know what counseling is,
Is
right? Or
right,
even believe in it, right? So many
right.
families, what we say in this household stays in this
Stays in this
household.
household.
And so
Mm-hmm.
now I'm going against the
Mm-hmm.
grain because I have been raised this way, and you're telling me to go tell somebody else my business,
Tell
right?
somebody else my business, and we're supposed to be strong enough to endure,
Hmm.
especially like I said in our community. you're supposed to be strong enough to endure. And if you go to get some counseling for emotional or mental problem that you're having, you are very weak.
Yeah, yeah.
That is the narrative. You're just
Hmm.
weak. You just need to suck it up. You just need to go on out there and do what is stop crying, put your big girl pants on
That's
and go
right.
on out there and do what you need to do.
Hmm.
And so long we have told ourselves because, and it's and you know better than I do, it's a mentality that has been instilled in us as a result of us being in this country 400 years in slavery, and a point where we were seen as less than human,
Hmm.
subhuman. And so we were told over and over again that you don't have a right to this, you don't have a
Hmm.
right to that, you can't voice your opinion, you're just here to work. And then we're told that, you know, you're here to work, but you're lazy,
Hmm.
you're low IQ, and all of these things. And so we're fighting against 400 years worth of indoctrination.
Hmm.
And then we're told, but you can't go get any help
Hmm.
to overcome that indoctrination.
And I was thinking about the strong piece. So often I think what we're proud of and what blesses us can also hurt us. It is
Right.
something empowering about being a strong woman, and we
Yes.
glorify it. And it's beautiful. Like, I like to be
Mm-hmm.
a strong one, but sometimes I need help, right?
Right.
And
Right.
we need to make it safe for people to say that, right?
Right.
But it is something so beautiful about being strong. Oh, I can handle it. I got this. I've done this for X amount of years by myself. And we do
Strong and
that to our
independent.
detriment,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We do it to our
hurting
detriment.
us.
Mm-hmm. Because everybody, regardless to who it is, needs help sometime.
Sure, yeah.
And everybody needs a support system all the time. And
That's it.
we may not, you know, I'm a bit of an introverted person, and people always tell me you ain't. Yes, I am. I'm an introverted person.
Yeah.
Um, but I need a lot of me time where I'm by myself. But then I also need my family, my friends that love, that support. And I sometimes I will go to some of my friends, and you know, I have a select few that I can just really open up and be myself with, and that's bad too. But they'll be like, you supposed to be helping us. We're not supposed to be helping you. You supposed to
Hmm.
be. And I'm like, okay, but sometimes this picture gets empty. And so
Or
I need somebody that's
pour
going to
into
pour
you.
into me.
Hmm.
Yes. And
That
so when I
matters.
come to y'all asking for help or for a word or for you to pray for me or pray
Hmm.
with me, then you just do that. You know,
That's
don't tell me
right.
that I'm supposed to be the one
That's
helping you all the
right.
time. Help me.
That's
So,
right. That because none of us are exempt from needing help.
right,
There's nothing so cute about nobody. There's no degree. There's no job. There's no title. Nothing exempts you for going through a challenge and or a battle.
right.
And so, with that, and I think we as a community and, friends, partners, siblings, whoever we are, family, we have to ensure we're creating a trust and space for people to come to us with that, right? Because it has to
Hmm.
feel safe. If I'm
Right.
telling, but before I
Me-
can tell you I need help, I need to
Right.
feel safe.
Right.
I need to
Right.
feel that this information is safe. I don't want to feel like I have to feel like you're going to bring this back up a little later. And
Right.
so we have to create a space of respect, a space of honor and safety.
Exactly. So I guess how do we go about creating that space? And wait, can I wait? Let me start back. Let me back up. As a individual, me personally, how do I know when I'm at my breaking point in any situation?
Or, I wish I had the answer for that. But what I will say is, Oftentimes when we're at a breaking point, there's no one recipe to what that looks like. That could look like how parents, how we're physically showing up. That could also look like that we're not getting out of bed, right? That could look like that we're starting to tolerate things that our whole self wouldn't tolerate.
Wouldn't.
That
Okay.
could look like we're not engaging in things that we used to have excitement for, right? So maybe you used to love going to dinner with your family, but
Mm-hmm.
now I don't want to be around anybody.
Right.
Maybe you're a writer and you haven't wrote anything in 3 months. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
you're a hugger, but you haven't given anyone a hug. But here's the reality, this is when the village is important, the people
Okay.
around us are important. We recognize some of these things in people we love, and we'll be like, oh, so and so is just not like himself anymore. He just acting strange. And we just write them off. Did we ever consider to ask, hey, how are you? What's been going on? Right.
Right.
And so, as a
Right.
village, and not that it's necessarily our responsibility to carry others, but I do feel as a friend or as a family member, I always look, how can I show up for this person, right? And because it's easy to go to, oh, they acting funny, I'm not doing it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
not doing it. But
Yeah.
what would it look like if we took some time to ask them, how are you doing? I noticed
Mm-hmm.
the distance. Are you okay?
Are you okay? Yeah.
Are you okay? Sometimes we just want someone to ask us how we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you notice someone's disheveled, what does it look like instead of us talking about them? What does it look like supporting them or see what's going on in their lives?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because to your original question, the reality is when we're in it, it is incredibly hard to recognize
For us
that
to
we're
see
in
it.
it. Now,
Okay.
it's easy now for me to be like, oh, yeah, I know counseling is important, or, I got this. But when you're in it, that is tough.
That is
And
is
so, just so for me to reckon, maybe I don't even know I'm at my breaking point.
mm-hmm.
I think it's important for us to recognize when we're starting to feel hopeless in stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When we feel like there's no more tomorrow, when we feel like there's no more, Mr. Jackson, I'm on but can't request to join.
Okay, and I keep on requesting you. I keep on sending him out, and his connection is failing. I don't know if he
Do
must
you
be
have a
having.
different device, Mr. Jackson? Do you have an iPad or anything else maybe you can try to join from? I don't know if it's a device issue, but
I don't know. Hopefully we can get him in before the day is over, Mr. Jackson.
no.
Yeah, just go all the way out. Turn your phone. You might have restart your phone or something, and make sure you don't have anything else on either, Mr. Jackson. And try to come in again because we need you in this conversation. We really want you in this conversation. We
Yes.
know you are so passionate about this, and it's something that he had posted. Hey Monica, how you doing? And Miss Shirley Liggins. um Mr. Jackson did say so many of us don't realize that we need to intervene until it's too late. We
Yeah.
must realize that when something is off, it's okay to ask a person, how are you doing? I have tried iOS and Android devices. One at a time, Mr. Jackson. You got both of them are not on the live, are they? Uh, Make sure you're just trying on one of them at a time. Let's see.
to
I
to
think I'm
to
just
his
gonna
point, you said we must realize that when something's off, it's okay to ask the person, how are you doing? Absolutely. And
Mm-hmm.
something that I personally struggle with and still struggle with, when I know someone is experiencing something and feeling like I don't have the words to say, but I have to remember my role is not to fix it. And so I literally ask the
Okay.
question, how can I support you? Because I don't know what
Okay.
that looks like for
Okay.
you.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
sometimes I overthink. I'm like, I don't know what to say. Like, I want to be supportive, I want to be present. So I ask, how what does support look like for you? Because I don't want to guess what you need in this moment. Maybe it is prayer. Maybe you just want to sit on the phone and say nothing. Maybe
And
you just want me to come sit with you and we stare at each other.
hmm and see. my what I struggle with, Simone, and I will admit it, and all of my friends will probably tell you too. I'm the one who wants to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you come to me and you say I have this issue, then immediately, because I am a social worker,
Sure.
and that's our job, trying to fix broken situations, broken homes, broken
Mm-hmm.
finances. That's our role. So what I want to do immediately is say, okay, this is what we have. Let's assess the
Mm-hmm.
situation. This is what's going on. This is where we are. This is what we're trying to get. Okay, so how do we get from point A to point B? To what from where we are to where we want to be? What are the barriers that are preventing us from getting there? How
Sure.
can we overcome these barriers? Who do we know that can help us? What resources do we have access to? That's where my mind immediately goes. And sometimes people don't need that. I know it. And I do know that sometimes people don't need that, but that is where my mind is. That is how I'm hardwired.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's fix it. How can we fix it?
That's right. And I'll ask, what does fixing look like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when us going to what I may think it looks like may not be what the person needs, right?
Right.
And sometimes we can get when we're in the fixing mode, we lose the goal, we lose the promise that this
Mm-hmm.
person is going through. And so, putting it back on them, how can I support you? Because the
Mm-hmm.
reality is that the fix does not always look like what we
What
envision.
we envision the fix look like, and what works for me don't necessarily work for
Mhm,
you.
mhm.
Okay. And I have a comment from Jasmine Hayes. She said, Yes, Miss Simone. I always just try to show that I'm there for whatever reason they may need me for, even if it's just an ear when they choose to use it."
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, let's see. So, what are some signs that we can look for that a person may be dealing with something? Say that a person may be dealing with substance abuse, or that they may be a battered spouse or in a toxic relationship, or that they may be dealing with depression or something like that, or even that that person may be hiding an illness from us. I went through, and I'll do a personal testimony. I went through that with my oldest sister. She was sick, and she was sick for when finally, we got her to the doctor, and he told me she probably been dealing sick and symptomatic for 7 years, but we didn't see that. And I will tell you, it was some distance between us, and I do go to think that part of that was her probably trying to keep us from knowing that she was sick. And so how do you recognize these things
Yeah,
concerning people?
that's a good question, and I want to lead with that is not cookie cutter, and not all of this will suggest that something may be going on. But it's probably more likely that we can notice things in people we're closer to or in closer proximity to, like people we work with, people in our household. And so, one of those things is how they're speaking. Are they engaging in activities that they wouldn't typically engage in? So maybe they have a drink every now and then, but now we notice that they're drinking more and more. Maybe they typically hang out with family and friends, but now we have not seen them in months. Maybe they are stellar with their appearance, the
Mm,
finest person you know, and now all of a sudden they don't care about things they once cared about. Maybe
Mhm.
they often text you every Monday, but I haven't heard from you the last 3 Mondays. What is
Mhm.
going on, right? Maybe when you're
Mhm.
talking to them, you notice they're not using a futuristic language, if you will, and really talking in a language of despair,
Mhm.
sharing words like "I just feel hopeless, I don't know where to turn." They speak of isolation, feeling like they don't have any family and or support, or no one cares. Maybe it's basic housekeeping, right? Or their desk at
Mhm.
work. Normally their desk is tidy and now it's papers everywhere. Normally their house is tidy and now that it's not. Again, all of this doesn't suggest that there's a big issue, but it could suggest that there's a change in this person that may warrant a discussion. And
Okay.
just simple things like that could be, and again, maybe it's nothing. Maybe they're like, girl, I'm just tired,
Mhm.
or it could be that they are in such a way they don't know how to articulate it. The
Mhm.
other side of that is everyone doesn't exhibit those signs, and it is possible that it can go under the radar. The challenge with this is, and I'll use I statements for me, when we navigating our own stuff, it's also hard to recognize everyone else's stuff around us
Yeah.
because we're
Yeah.
in our own task. I know many people going back
Mhm.
to work tomorrow from the holidays,
Yeah.
so we already got a to-do list, right? And so we're rare. It's hard to be present with ourselves, let alone trying to show up for others, right? And it can feel heavy, and it does take us to be intentional when we see these things in our friend groups. But again, we as doers of the word, we as people, we as friends, we as family have to be mindful and ask ourselves, have I even created a space for them to tell me they're not okay?
Mm.
Can
Mm.
they come to me
Mm.
and know that it rests right here?
Okay.
Is this a space they feel safe for
Right.
me? Because,
Right.
see, like I said earlier, what I don't want to do is come and tell you this, and this has to show back up in a unhealthy way for
Right.
me. You got to remind me of that hard time I have.
Mm. Mm. Oh, okay, Miss Dr. Hicks. We have some comments, so let me let me go through these comments. Jasmine said a lot of times the fix is not always instantaneous for them.
Hmm.
And that is and we get to where we don't want to put in the work. And on both ends. I don't want to put in the work, keep carrying you, keep supporting you, keep dragging you. Okay, I keep dragging you along. And that's what I feel like, or you're my load. And then they sometimes people don't want to put in the work. I don't want to feel better. I don't want to get up. I
Or
don't want to.
what if the fix is uncomfortable?
Okay.
What if the fix is uncomfortable? What if the fix or my goal towards healing requires me to peel back some layers that I don't want to necessarily have to go
Mm-hmm.
there?
Mm-hmm.
Because see what we good at band-aid. I deal with this later. I'll deal with this
Mm-hmm.
later. Later is 15 years later, and we never dealt with that because it's
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable. And I don't want to have to go there. Maybe the fix or the direction to healing requires me to go in a very dark space that I'm afraid of. Maybe the fix and the healing is going to shed light to things and
Mm.
or people and requires me to remove some things and or people.
People from my circle. Yeah, maybe I'm in some toxic situations that I need to get out of. Yeah, and we don't want to shed those layers because sometimes they get real comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been reminded of a quote in what is it, Rick Warren's book, Purpose Driven Life. Just because something is comfortable don't mean you need to stay in it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so you're right. We don't want to leave our comfort zone, our comfortable situation. Let me see, got some more. Yena Logan. Some are fixers, but what if you consider yourself a fixer, but when someone comes to you with concerns, you put on a face of I'm okay, but you're not.
That
Okay.
that's a great question, Miss Ina. And I think That's when we have to be okay knowing that we've done what we can do.
Mhm.
Right? We have to
Mhm.
be okay. So maybe I've noticed something. They're like, no, I'm fine. Well, create an open space. So, well, if and when you're ready to talk about it, know that I'm here. I think it's also notable to have some resources for people. Maybe you don't want to talk to me at all about it, but just here's some resources I'm going to plug to you where there's
Yeah.
always this crisis hotline, or here's some therapists in the area that I know that would recommend or something like that. And the reality of it, it hurts because
Mhm.
if we've reached out, that's likely a person we care about
We
and we
care
care
about.
about their wellness. So to see them not accepting or opening up to us, sometimes it just takes time and there has to
Mhm.
be a readiness for it.
And,
And,
and
and that's
and
hard.
yeah, because sometimes we'll take offense to them not wanting us and not wanting us not wanting to talk to us and stuff. But you do have to realize that sometimes it's a lot easier to talk to a stranger than it is to talk to a family or friend. Um, when I worked in Kmart for years and years part time at the customer service desk, and I people would come in to Kmart and tell me all their business. Like I had a sign
Yeah.
up above my thing, but they didn't know me. I didn't know them. So it really didn't matter if I went and told somebody that
Hmm.
this man or this woman came into Kmart and said such and such, and they were going through this, and their wife did this or their child did this, because I didn't know them from Adam, and
Hmm.
nobody that I knew them to my knowledge, so they felt comfortable coming and telling a complete stranger their problems. And like I said, me, Miss Fix It.
Hmm.
I'm trying to help them work through their problems. I'm just carrying all the Kmart customers' problems on my back and everybody, all my clients' problems. That's a whole nother story. I need to pay session for this.
Well, that could be because I do believe people carry lights. And so
Mm-hmm.
that could be the light in you.
Mm-hmm.
I found sometimes I open up to somebody and I be like, why did I just tell them all of that? But it could be the light in you. You unknowingly created a space of safety for someone in Kmart that they could have been searching for. And that's why our interactions with people we don't know is also important because
Yeah.
we don't know how and who can reach us at any time.
At any time, or how we impact people, because I will tell you real short quick, this guy I met in Kmart, and I used to talk to him back and forth, and I didn't know what was going on with the guy. We would just come in and we laugh, and sometimes he asked questions, I would talk to him, just on a general basis. I would do this, or it's gonna be okay, or keep on, you know. And years later, like 20 years later, I saw this guy. Kmart had been closed and everything. I was working doing taxes at Jackson Hewitt, so it was about 3 years ago. And I said, I remember you from Kmart. And he said, yes. And he said, and I saw you sitting over there. And I said, oh, this is my opportunity. Because I said, if I ever saw you again, I was going to thank you because you saved my life. I said, what? He's like, I came into Kmart one night and he said, and my wife and my daughter had been killed in a car accident. And he said, and I talked to you, and he said, and I can't even remember exactly what you said to me, but whatever you said changed my life because my plan was to go home and kill myself. He said, but because of what you said to me in Kmart, and I was like, what in the world did I say?
Mhm.
But he said, I continued on. He said, now I live in Florida. I'm remarried. I have 3 kids and all of this. He said, and I said to myself, if I ever see you again, I was gonna tell you thank you, and just amazing that I see you today. And
Yeah.
I was like, really? So The interactions that you have with people are very
Yeah,
important, and you don't know how what you say will impact people. So you have to choose your words real carefully and always speak life into people,
that's
regardless
right.
to who they are or what your relationship or what you know about them. Always speak life into people.
That's right, because it was a like a meme. I think I seen it on Instagram. But basically it showed it was like, and some of you on here may have seen it, but it was words on like in a large city of people walking, and it was words on people's head of what they are experiencing. And the reality of, we are all walking around with something.
Yes,
Now some of us dress it up better than others, but trust me, we are carrying something.
we are carrying
We are
something.
carrying something, but I often think that the battle for me is a reminder of God promises, and it often comes right before the breakthrough. And
Mm-hmm.
so, as much as day to day, I know we can go in stores, somebody's staring at us, and we're like, what they looking at?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that's doing for them, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
reality of it is, we're all carrying something. And so it's
Right.
a time and an opportunity for us to pause, because we don't know what that person is getting for us. Just like that interaction in Kmart, you saved his life
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
created another one from him for him unknowingly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, as servants, we have a responsibility to be a doer. And I want to highlight, Mr. Jackson was supposed to join, but he's not on here. He said something on here. He gave us some 5 key steps to create safe spaces for hope in the chat.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Mr. Jackson, I want to acknowledge you because you are someone who is a doer of the work and not shy of sharing your experiences. And that alone, while we don't know who is saved by a post, or you sharing your
Right.
story, or giving us tips, or even putting this in the chat, that matters. So I just want to thank you for how you show up, and what you do as it relates to the work of mental health and being an advocate. So I wanted to ensure.
Yes, he is definitely an advocate, and every day if you go on his Facebook page, you're gonna mostly every day you're gonna find some encouraging, inspiring thing. And I'm gonna read those because that's what we're supposed to be talking about, how to create spaces for hope. Because we want people to know that your situation is not hopeless. You're not the first one to ever deal with whatever it is you're going through. Whatever it is you're going through, guess what? Someone has dealt with it. Someone has survived it. Someone has thrived beyond it. And not just surviving, because we don't want just survive. I'm just surviving. No, we want to thrive. And people go through things that are very traumatic. You have people who have dealt with cancer, had double mastectomies, battled cancer multiple times, and they're still here thriving. You have people who have been in very abusive relationships where they've been beaten, they've been left for dead, they've been, and now they're out of that. They're thriving. You have people who have been addicted to substances, addicted to alcohol, addicted to crack. I have a cousin now, and he'll tell anybody his story at any time how he was addicted to crack. But now he is a deacon in the church, and he is a strong advocate for God and for the fact that you can. There's life beyond substance abuse. You can overcome that substance abuse. There are people who have been in a very dark and low place, people who have attempted to kill themselves, and now they're out there sharing their stories, their testimonies, telling others that yes, there is a life beyond the break. So that is what I want us to remember, that whatever we're going through, it's just a moment in time. Just a moment in time. You have a whole life beyond this moment. So don't get stuck in this wilderness. We all go through wilderness experiences, but if we get stuck in the wilderness, guess what? We never make it to the promised land.
Yeah, and it may take a village for us to pull one
Hmm.
another out. We talk
Hmm.
about it takes a village when we think about rearing kids, but it takes a village. Sometimes we just need somebody.
Yes. Yes. And
We
it's
just
okay
need
just to
somebody.
need somebody. It's
Mhm.
okay to say, I need you to go to the doctor with me. I'm scared. I'm having these symptoms. I'm scared to go. I'm
Mhm.
scared what the doctor may say to me. Or I'm having symptoms. I don't know what this is. Okay, well, I'll go with you. Let us go together. You don't have to go by yourself. Or I don't know what I'll do. How am I going to take care of myself if I leave this husband? He's
Mhm.
abusing me, but I don't have a job. I don't have money. I've never taken care of myself. I have these kids. Do it for the kids. This is you can do better. I will help you. There are resources. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna find those resources. You deserve better. We have been taught as Black people that we don't deserve the best in life, especially right
Mhm.
here in these United States. We've
Mhm.
always been taught that we are less than, that we are not, we're subhuman, that we don't deserve the best. Even in a lot of Black churches, they teach poverty instead of prosperity, and that ain't
Mhm.
God. That's not God. But those are the things that we have been taught, and so we have got to retrain our thinking. And like you said, it's a process. It does not happen instantly, and we can't get it by ourselves. We
Mhm.
need help.
Mhm. And
And
that's
it,
why conversations like these are so important. And I'm telling y'all, technology now, if you don't even want to ask someone, you can literally go on the internet, Google what you're looking for. If you don't know, just put in some keywords of what you're looking for, right? Because there are resources, and oftentimes in our community, prayer is the answer. And I believe that. Let me be clear.
mhm,
I believe that. I also believe that God calls people in professions to do the work
to
and
do the
help
work.
you, right? So I
Right,
do
right,
believe that
right.
God calls doctors to do that surgery. I do
Mm-hmm.
believe that God
Mm-hmm.
calls therapists to peel back some layers. I do
Mm-hmm.
believe that God calls friends to speak life into you when you don't know where else to turn. I believe that with prayer. I
With
believe it's
prayer.
necessary.
And when you talk about that village, it is my dream when I retire my second part of life, and that is important too. In hope, having a plan. What's next? Okay, what is next for me? What's my next 5 years looking like? So that way you always working towards something. And when you're working towards something, you have a sense of purpose. And when you have a sense of purpose, it's always better for you. If I have a sense of purpose, that's always going
Mhm.
to help me even through bad situations. But so my next part of life, I want to have a community center, a resource center, um, and I want to right here. I really want to in this very spot that I live in because this is where my mom was. But I said she had a better track record than Betty Ford because when she retired, a lot of guys, younger guys like my older sister's age, they would come hang around her because my mom had a sense of humor out of this world.
Mhm.
But she also had a way of inspiring people to be the best versions of themselves. And so most of these young men were alcoholics or winos as we would call them.
Mhm.
And but she had known them all their lives, and she never told them y'all need to stop drinking, you're doing it. What she would always do is remind them of who they were. um so and so and so. You used to build stuff. You could do anything with your hands. You could make any kind of cabinets and shelves and stuff. Do you still do that kind of stuff? Can you still do that? Or you used to make the nicest stuff? Or you used to be a cook? Couldn't nobody cook better than you? You were the best cook in town. Or you baked some cake. One by one, I promise you, Miss Simone, those men stop drinking. She never told them to stop drinking.
Mhm.
She just reminded them of what God had placed in them. God didn't place you here to be a wino. He placed you here to be a master chef. One by one, they stopped drinking. They went back to their vocation. By the time my mama left here, by the time she left here, all those men were sober. And
I
it was
love
about
that.
seven of them, and all of them were sober, and all of them were exercising and working in their profession. All of them were taking care of themselves, and some of them married, and just thriving, not just surviving. You muted yourself, Miss Simone.
Can you hear me
Okay,
now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, okay.
Hmm.
I love that because it reminded me of because that approach essentially you didn't it wasn't attack the issue but reminded them of their promise and their why.
Hmm.
And then something else you said earlier, as it relates to resources and hope, it reminded me of the essentially what I heard you describe it, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but almost like a one-stop shop, like a resource center. And again, I don't want to put word, but that's what I felt like I hear you
Yes,
saying, and
yes,
I think that is
yes.
so powerful because it removes the barrier. I remember being in case management. I have to take them to the doctor on this side of town. Then they got to find a ride over here to go to the doctor. Then they got to get their medicine over here. Then they have to pay their bills over here. And so I think that's another way to address that. My friend in here, Dr. Jessica Henry, she
Okay.
shared counselingtoday.com is a great resource for finding a therapist in your area. Absolutely, Dr. Henry. And what I like about counseling today, you can literally refine it to what's important for you because I like to say therapy is also like dating, right? You want it
Mm-hmm.
to match your needs, or and maybe you don't know what that looks like for you, but if race is important, if gender ethnicity is that's important, if there's specialty important, so if you're navigating depression and you want someone who has specialized in that, if demographic, all of that, whatever's important for you, you can narrow that. Mr. Jackson says prayer is critical, but medicine is too. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
find that we're
Mm-hmm.
more likely to take medicine for a headache, but when it becomes our emotional capacity and stuff, that's
Mm-hmm.
harder to, we feel like that's harder to fix. So thank you for sharing that,
Mm-hmm.
Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson.
I was talking to my pastor today, and she was telling me, we were talking, and she's like, "Yeah, you people have to realize that that's the word is important, but the sofa is too. Okay, so you got to have both. It takes both. If you need to sit on the sofa, then you need to sit on the sofa. If you want a praying doctor, you can find those. There are some prayer. I remember when I had surgery, my doctor's like, okay, did you pray before you came this morning to have surgery? Okay, yes, I've prayed. Do you want us to pray? We can pray together, but I've already talked to the man and we upstairs and he has fixed it already. And so, if those people, those doctors are out there. Whatever that you need. That's the thing about it in today's society. Whatever you need, it's out there. It is, like you say, it's available. You muted again, Miss Simone. I don't know what you keep pushing over
I
there.
keep, every time I touch it, I mute it. Mr. Jackson said I sent the request to join.
And he did, but it won't let me add him.
Oh, you can't
I
get it.
It is saying unable to add the guest. So I don't know what's
So, do you,
going
Mr.
on.
Jackson, do you think if I drop, then you can get up? We can switch.
I don't. Usually, we can have two or three people on here at the same time. Three. I've had three people. I mean, me and three guests. So, I don't know. I think it's sometimes Mr. Jackson has trouble getting on, and the day just is one of those days. And I don't know. Usually, we get him in here eventually, but today, it just is not our day, and I would like to, because it was something a question he had asked. Dr. Hicks, how can we normalize the conversation of hope, advocate for people who are suffering in silence, and helping people to understand the difference between praying for issues and receiving, what did he say, praying for people with issues and receiving medical help for issues. um
Think, let me see. Hold on, I'm reading it. So, Mr. Jackson, I think we spoke a little to this earlier, but as it relates, how do we normalize the conversation of hope? I think it's simply by telling our stories, engaging in like-minded spaces regarding our stories when we're going through something. We always talk about individual therapy. There's also group options for people, and with group, that is means someone has a shared experience and you're able
mhm.
to recognize and see, wow, I am not the only one.
I'm not the
Because
only one.
when we're going in it, it feels isolating, and ain't much you can tell me when I'm in it. It's not much because it's real for me, it's raw for me. And so when you're like, oh, just go get counseling, sometimes that's not what I want to hear in the moment,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so I think having those conversations, particular related to whatever the concern is, I would recommend maybe group therapy for
Mhm.
individuals who may not be ready for individual, or you can pair it together, right? Also, you said help understand the difference between praying issue and receiving. Yes, we talked about that, right? Again, I am a praying woman. I'm gonna pray about it now, but I'm also use some of God's good people and the experts to go address what needs healing.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mind, body, soul, physical, financially. We have experts in all these areas that make up holistic well-being. And I think once we have more of these conversations, right, and normalize it and hear people's stories and sit in these spaces, people will become more comfortable. And it has to be a willingness, a readiness as well.
Yeah, a willingness and a readiness, and that's the thing too. It has to be a readiness. When we're dealing with people who are going through some things, it has to be a readiness to admit, okay, I have a problem. I need some help. Because we can't force help on people. We can continue to try to support them and encourage them, but you can't force. I can't force someone to leave a toxic relationship. I can't force someone to stop overspending if we're talking about financial. I can't force someone to stop drinking or using fentanyl or cocaine, or I can't force them to even see the value in themselves if they're feeling depressed or worthless. But we can love them unconditionally, and always say, okay, right here with you. I'm not going to let you go. I'm not going to let you go. Okay? You may let yourself go, but I'm not going to let you go. I'm gonna hold on to you as tight as I can until you see in you what I see in you,
Hmm.
that you are worth fighting for.
Absolutely. I love that. You are worth fighting for. You
Mm-hmm.
are worth, there's more. There's more. There's more.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
again, when we're in it, sometimes we don't see the more.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we just have to remind that person of that hope. We have to remind them of their more.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Mm-hmm.
I challenge all of us to think, what is my more? When we go to bed tonight, what is my more?
What is my
What
more?
keeps me going on a bad day?
Mm-hmm.
What keeps me going when they showing out on the job? When they
Mm-hmm.
cutting up everywhere I go? What keeps me going when someone just made me very mad in the grocery store?
Mm-hmm.
What is my more?
What is my more?
What keeps me going when things feel like it's falling apart and everything has went wrong?
Okay.
What keeps me going when I look over 2025 and I don't think I had a win, but I'm still here? What is my more?
What is my more? Wait a minute. Let me see. We must understand that we can't fix everything. There are professionals in the area of mental health who will gladly be available to assist. God gave us professionals to help in areas
Yes.
in areas of health. Prayer is the beginning of repairing an issue. Prayer is the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and we pray, and that's my thing. Christians, when you pray to God for guidance, what is He guiding you to do? He is not guiding you to just sit there and suffer. God, I just don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe God guides us to sit in silence and suffer, regardless of what it is we're suffering in.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So if we're going to pray, then don't pray and say, I know the answer already.
Mm-hmm.
Pray and listen for God's answer.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I don't think his answer is gonna be okay. You just sit here, you just stay right here, and you just be depressed, and you just lay in this bed until the day you leave here, or you just stay here and you're sick. You don't go to the doctor. You just sit here and die. Or
Yeah.
she's not gonna say you just stay in this toxic relationship, or you just keep on using these drugs until you just kill yourself. That's not God's answer.
Oh, Mr. Jackson said, helping our people every day.
I love that.
I
I
love the
love that.
acronym. Yeah,
I
helping
love it.
our people every day. And so maybe we walk away and I challenge you, and I'm gonna do this challenge too, to see how we can just simply ask someone this week, how can I support you?
Mm.
Yeah, how can I support you?
How can I support you? I'm gonna work on that, Miss Simone. I'm
How
gonna
can I
work on
support you?
not trying to fix it,
Right.
but asking, how can I
How
support
can
you?
I support you?
I'm gonna work on that. I'm
Hmm.
gonna work on that. It's gonna take some time.
That's okay.
You gonna have to tell me that again, okay?
That's okay. Look, it's nothing's about a quick fix, right? It's about the journey. It's about the journey, and being hopeful is a journey. You
Right.
know, because when it happens today, I don't know that I feel hopeful. So it's a journey getting to the land of hope and God's fulfilled promises. It's a journey.
Okay. And I just want you to, before we go, tell the audience, what do you think about when you think about, what does it mean when we say hope beyond the break? What does that mean to you?
For me, right, when I think of hope beyond the break, I go back to what I said earlier, remembering your why and asking yourself, what is my more? I'm also one, I have conversations with God and I ask questions. I'm gonna say, Lord, you gotta come see about me. I'm
Mm,
struggling. I don't have
mm,
clarity on this, and it feels
mm-hmm,
heavy. This thing
mm-hmm,
is heavy. This
mm-hmm,
heavy, Lord. You gotta help me know what is my more.
mm-hmm,
Help me in this battle. Because the
mm-hmm.
Bible speaks to battles.
Right,
Everything's not colorful and perfect,
right.
despite what social media will have us believe. Everything is not as beautiful and colorful as our pictures that we edit show.
Mm, mm-hmm.
We got battle scars,
Uh-huh.
but I have the
And
scars to
look,
show it.
and everything don't have no filter.
That's
Everything
right.
hadn't been AI fixed and
That's
doctored up
right.
and looking real young and pretty. No, you're right. We got some old scars, and
We
it's
have
hard to heal
scars.
old wounds.
That's right. But
Just to
we're
say,
here.
when
I think, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I
You
was
go
just
ahead.
gonna say what makes me hopeful is merely me sitting here having this conversation because that meant that anything prior to this didn't take me out.
Oh,
So me just being here having this conversation is enough for me to keep going to see what is my more.
Mm-hmm.
Because
What's
ain't nothing
next?
been perfect. And so
Mm-hmm.
this conversation, everyone who's on the other side of this conversation, this is direct evidence of God's promises because it shows that whatever I have been through up until today did
Mm-hmm.
not take me out. And for that, Lord, I thank you. And I
Right.
am hopeful.
Yes. Yes.
And so these conversations are needed. And I'm grateful for you and Mr. Jackson for the platform, your Let's Talk platform, because it is so timely and we need each
Mm-hmm.
other.
Mm-hmm.
We need each other.
Yeah, and people, and that's what I was telling my sister. I said, in my next phase, like I said, I want the community center, and I said I want to be able to help counsel people because the world needs it, our
Hmm.
community needs it. I want to be able to love on people because that's what the world needs too. There is hope in loving one another. Duchess did say that we need to continue this conversation on another episode, and Miss Dr. Simone, anytime you are wanting and available, this platform is available for
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
uh,
Thank you both.
um because we do need it. We do need it. It's trying time, but it's time out for us just sitting back and allowing things to happen to us and happen in our communities, and us just sit back and say how horrible it is and
Hmm.
not do anything about it. We need to not just talk about it, we need to do some things about it. And and by encouraging people, that's the first step, encouraging them to know that it's okay for you to ask for help. Whatever you're going through, it's okay for you to talk to somebody about it. It's okay for you to acknowledge that I'm not your superwoman. Okay, it's okay for you to acknowledge you're not superwoman. You are human. You do bleed if somebody cuts you. Wait a minute, you muted again, Miss Simone.
E- Every time I try to tap to see the comments, I go and mute the phone.
Oh,
I'm
you
sorry.
mute
I
the
just wanted to
phone.
make sure I didn't leave any comments unread and we, addressed everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Dr. Simone. Mr. Jackson, I see all of your comments that you have. Guys, y'all who have been on the show, y'all go back and read the comments too. There's a lot of great information that has been dropped in the comments. We did not have time because I wanted Dr. Hicks to be able to talk to us and help us. But it's a lot of great information out there in these comments, and we want to continue to do that. Remember our assignment. Dr. Simone told us we're going to ask somebody this week how we can support them, and then we're going to let their perception be their reality. A lot of times we try to, somebody tells us what they're thinking and what they're feeling, then we try to tell them that that's not valid. No, that don't make no sense. That's not valid. That's illogical or whatever. But it makes perfectly good sense to them. Okay, so we're gonna allow people to express themselves and give them an opportunity. And we're gonna love on them. We're gonna love
That's
on
right.
each other. Thank you so much, Miss
Thank you. Thank you
Simone.
for having me. Have a great week,
I
everyone.
have really enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah.
I really have. It's been awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Jackson, you ain't get that phone fixed. Whatever going on with that phone or that internet or whatever it is that kept you from
We're
getting
gonna
this
have to run it.
conversation.
We're gonna have to run it back because I know how excited Mr. Jackson is about this topic,
What
and we want
about
to hear what you gotta say.
exactly, exactly. So we're gonna have to do this again, and we need to say it. You can't just say it once with anything. You can't just say it once. And like we said, these are old habits that we're trying to break.
That's
So
right.
So it's gonna take a lot of us repeating and reinforcing what we have said. And so yeah, we're gonna have to run it back,
That's
Dr.
right.
Simone. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys. I'll talk to you later, Miss Dr. Simone.
All
Thank you
right. Take
so
care,
much.
everyone. Have a good
Take
night.
care. All righty. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for joining us for the first episode of Let's Talk 2026. Like I said, this year we will be focusing on being the best version of ourselves that we can possibly be, mind, body, and spirit. We're going to focus on that. I will be out of pocket for the next 2 weeks, work and other issues, but we will be back on the fourth Sunday. And in the meantime, Mr. Jackson and I will probably try to get something somewhere, get some. So be on the lookout on your face, on your timeline. We might put up an event. You never know when we might throw in an event one night through a weeknight, when we have some time. But you all just remember there is hope, always hope, beyond whatever the break is. And don't get in your wilderness and give up and quit. Because if you do that, you'll never make it to the promised land. I am Juju. I am that mountain moving giant slayer. Together, y'all, we walking by faith. We're going to inspire hope in each other this year. And then we are going to and show love to one another all along the way. Until next time, guys, I wish you all so much love and so many blessings. I love you. Good night.